The meeting in Alaska drew global attention as two of the world's most consequential leaders discussed the fate of Ukraine in a closed-door environment. But the real determinant for Ukraine's future possibly lies in Washington now, where Ukraine's voice and the collective might of its European allies will be taking the stage. But in Trump's shadow, at the Alaska summit, President Trump met President Putin without Ukraine or its European partners. The absence of Ukrainian representation risked the sidelining of Kyiv's crucial interests. Putin, whose primary objective seemingly remains expanding Russian influence, must be viewing the mere participation on US soil as a diplomatic victory. After all, the same America's allies want to arrest the Russian bear for war crimes. The Alaska meeting basically partially broke his isolation from Western leaders following years of war. Trump echoed Putin's long-standing demands, urging Ukraine to relinquish claims to Crimea and abandon aspirations for NATO membership. The threat of arrangements made without Ukraine's direct participation loomed, an old story for Kyiv, which has suffered most when its fate was decided in distant capitals without its input. Contrast this with the upcoming White House meeting, which could not be any more vital to Ukraine's sovereignty and long-term security. President Zelensky, flanked by Europe's most prominent leaders and the NATO Secretary-General, arrives in Washington not as a supplicant, but as the representative of a broad coalition determined to shape the terms of any peace process. This united front is a visual and diplomatic rebuttal to any suggestions of Ukraine being a mere pawn in negotiations. European leaders, knowing the stakes, ensure that not only Ukraine is present, but that the continent's interests, the security of Europe itself, are inseparable from Kyiv's destiny. In Washington, two things become clear. First, any agreement about Ukraine must be crafted with Ukraine, not merely about Ukraine. Zelensky's refusal to simply accept territorial concessions, a superficial peace, or any sort of deal while fighting on highlights the commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty, the determination for a lasting peace, not another temporary pause until Russia renews its aggression. Second, European leaders are vocal in calling for credible, robust security guarantees as part of any deal. This means more than promises, it means tangible deterrence against future Russian attacks. If Trump aligns here, forging an agreement with meaningful international backing, he sets the stage not only for Ukrainian survival, but for a stable Europe. Moreover, this broader coalition at the White House strategically shapes the terms of US support. Ukraine's access to American arms, intelligence, and economic aid is irreplaceable, but these are no longer transactional asks. They are intertwined with European demands for transatlantic unity and mutual security. It will be interesting to watch how Europe threads the needle on Russian energy imports, with the USA breathing down its back. The Washington talks, then, are not only about ending the war, but about reinforcing the architecture that prevents its recurrence. Ultimately, while the Alaska summit carried symbolic weight and gave Putin a coveted platform, its outcome hinged on the willingness of the US to let Russia dictate terms. In Washington, by contrast, Ukraine and Europe will push back, demanding agency and guarantees that move beyond mere expedient deals. What happens in this meeting will reverberate not just in Ukraine, but across every border, shielding Europe from future Russian aggression. In this sense, the Washington summit may well be remembered as the greater turning point for Ukraine's independence and Europe's future. It will likely also decide how the USA and Russia view each other as potential partners or eternal rivals.